And now we welcome on from our sister site, NJ.com, NJ Advanced Media. He covers the New York Giants, Zach Rosenblatt. Zach, how are you?
I'm good, man. How you guys doing?
We're doing great, thank you. Thanks for joining us today.
Of course.
And so first of all, the big question on everyone's mind heading into this game is who is going to start at quarterback? Is it going to be Daniel Jones or our old friend Colt McCoy?
At this point, I would be surprised if it's Daniel Jones. He played on Sunday. He was clearly hampered by his hamstring injury that he had the week before. He didn't run for the first time in his career, and that's kind of like part of his game. Did not look like himself. And then he sprained his ankle at some point in the first half. And the second half, he was kind of limping all over the place. So now he has two injuries he's dealing with, and they had practice canceled on Thursday because of COVID stuff. So if he plays on Sunday, it's a testament how tough he is, but I don't know if they're necessarily putting themselves in position to win if he's out there.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with Jones, I know it's so important is his legs. He's the Giants' second leading rusher. How different of a quarterback is he if he can't run?
I mean, it's almost the entirety of what he's capable of doing because, the offensive line has struggled a lot of the year. They were pretty bad against the Cardinals last week. He got sacked 8 times, and I would say half of those sacks were because he couldn't escape. And he needs that escapability. Like, I mean, you guys, I'm sure, saw the run where he tripped and he ran 80 yards and tripped. I mean, like, he's capable of doing that sort of thing when he's fully healthy, and he's clearly not fully healthy. He's not really able to quite step into the same throws that he would. And he just did not he looked like a shell of the guy he was prior to the injury, which is when he was playing his best football of the year. So it's unfortunate for him, but I wouldn't put him out there on Sunday if I was the Giants.
Well, I tried to get this out of Joe Judge the other day, and he wouldn't bite on this. But, I said, does it factor into the decision that you have one of the most ferocious pass rushers in the NFL in Myles Garrett playing in this football game? And does that impact the decision on whether or not you can play a guy who's got 2 injured legs? Now, he says that's going to have nothing to do with it whatsoever. But I still think Olivier, Myles, that might be a factor. But tell us about Colt. I mean, if Colt starts this game, which you think it's going to happen, will he be better prepared? Can he look better than he did when he played the Seahawks a couple of weeks ago?
I don't know. I feel like Colt McCoy is kind of who he always has been. He's a capable game manager who's not really going to throw the ball down the field very much, and he's not really going to be able to run like Daniel Jones does. So they're kind of limited in what they can do when he's there. They become a pretty run-heavy team these last few weeks. They're going to need that, but I mean, the Browns are going to know that's coming, especially, just with the whole situation going on. And I don't know, I their ceiling is definitely lowered when Colt McCoy is at quarterback, but you trust him more to like not make too many mistakes than maybe if Daniel Jones, especially like you said with like Myles Garrett and Olivier Vernon like coming around the edge, like I'm more confident in his ability to get rid of the ball than even Daniel Jones when he's healthy. So.
Okay.
So when you talk about that run game, there's obviously a very big missing piece in Saquon Barkley, who's been out most of the year. It seems like Wayne Gallman has been capable. So how have the Giants been able to run the ball, and how has he done? Obviously, he's not going to be Saquon, but how has he done filling in?
Well, the funny thing, like obviously Saquon's the more dynamic, explosive guy, the guy you like point out on film and you prepare for. But like statistically speaking, they've run the ball even better than Saquon when they had Saquon last year. I mean, he was banged up last year, but like Wayne Gallman, he gets really tough yards, and the run blocking has been as good as it's been all season the last like 5 weeks. And Wayne just keeps getting better each week. They call him Wayne Train around here. And then randomly Alfred Morris kind of came out of nowhere. I don't even think I realized that he was still an active NFL player before they signed him off the practice squad because of all the COVID stuff. And then he's been pretty productive for them too. So I think a lot of it comes down to just they've been much better at run blocking than pass blocking.
All right, now the other big, huge question mark going into this game, Freddie Kitchens calling the plays for the
How
Giants.
about that? Yeah.
I mean, really, there have been so many things about the Browns season that almost seem like a movie this year. And this just goes right along with the movie that we are covering this year. So here comes Freddie Kitchens bounding into the game to call plays. What to expect?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty insane that the timing of this, all of this happened the week they're playing the Browns is just like so perfect. We talked to Freddie on Tuesday because we talked to the position coaches either once a month or whatever it is, and we had no idea this was obviously coming. But yeah, I don't imagine it'll look much different than it has the last few weeks. especially because they're only basically going to have one practice with him, maybe a walkthrough on Saturday. So I don't know if you're going to see them taking a lot of shots downfield. They're probably going to run the ball a lot. I don't know how inventive he is as a play caller. You guys would know that better than I would from his last 2 years in Cleveland. I don't imagine there would be too many drastic changes from what maybe they were preparing for with Jason Garrett, to be honest with you. But it is interesting. I'm writing about this for Friday morning. I'm not 100% convinced that Jason Garrett's going to be back next year as their offensive coordinator, and so in a way, this could be an audition for Freddie Kitchens if he can get the offense has been pretty bad this year. They haven't really scored the ball. They haven't really moved the ball in the passing game. If he can be the spark, then he could be their offensive coordinator next year, for all I know.
It wouldn't be the first time that Freddie took advantage of a small audition and parlayed it into a much bigger job.
Another big, huge news item that dropped today, obviously, James Bradbury going on the COVID list as a high-risk contact, I think, and not being able to play this game. I mean, my goodness, what is going on? And what impact is that going to have on this defense? He is obviously one of the best cornerbacks in the game.
It's a devastating loss. He's kind of been everything to their defense this year. He's the best corner they've had in this team in a long time. He's shut down. He had maybe one bad game this year, and he's just generally kind of shut down his side of the field, and it's allowed the rest of the secondary to be able to do things. So now that he's out, they technically only have one healthy cornerback on their active roster right now.
So given all these events, all these news items that have come down, we don't know if you for sure make picks, but if we can put you on the spot here, what do you think is going to happen in this game and why?
I think the Browns are going to have their way with the Giants, to be honest with you, just based on everything that's happened. The Giants have kept almost every game close this year. They got beat pretty bad by the Cardinals, beat pretty bad by the 49ers earlier this year, but losing James Bradbury, I originally was going to predict it to be a closer game, but I think if I'm putting a number to it, I would say maybe the Browns 31, Giants 13. I just don't see them being able to score very many points with Colt McCoy in there either. So it's not really a recipe for a great Sunday night football game, I would say.